Welcome back to the Right Side of Grace podcast. I am Addie.
I'm Rick.
Thanks for joining. There's the laugh.
You made me laugh.
Okay, so last episode we talked about
The NCAA bracket. We talked about homework.
and how we hated it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really, my dad, he's very aggressive about the homework.
I probably am.
The homework
I
talk.
probably should be more gracious to the...
But that's okay. Homework is annoying. No lie.
Yeah.
What
appropriate in certain subjects. Anyway, pretty much that's about it. We talked about idols of the heart, idolizing certain things. And then if you center your life around that certain idol, the idol always falls.
And once it falls, what do you have left?
Right. And then your whole life starts to crack apart. So keeping Christ at the center.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
that's good. Okay, so I guess we'll get into it then. If you didn't listen to it, you should just go listen to it. It's pretty good.
Well, we think it's
good.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so
we were supposed to talk about this.
We did kind of, I think
we didn't get to it though.
We did, I think at the end. We said to watch, but we didn't talk about it. So we have two, well, we don't have, one is a new show, one has been around for
50 seasons.
So, is it 50?
49 seasons or 48 seasons.
Maybe we can get on season 50.
You would be good at it.
No, I wouldn't, because first of all, okay, we can just talk about this. I went camping for the first time.
We're talking about the show Survivor, by the way.
We're talking about Survivor and Hunting Party, but we'll get to the Hunting Party. I went camping last Friday for the first time since I was like, how old, 10?
The last time we went tent camping was the last Thanksgiving before Charlie started high school football.
Okay, so yeah, let's just say I was really young, and this was not.
Had to be 12.
This was in the mountains of No, I'm just kidding. Wait, where was it? Asheville. The mountains of Asheville. You had to drive across the
Black Balsam Knob or something?
Yeah, you had to drive across the Blue Ridge Parkway, which was really pretty, but unfortunately, it was snowing.
Yeah, so it snowed. This was last weekend.
Like literally, I'm not saying,
it's the 16th of April.
It was snowing, and I did not plan for that in my head. Shelby, I knew it was going to be cold, and I thought it was going to be raining.
I sent him with a propane heater.
He did. Y'all, he sent us with, when I was on the way up there, I was thinking, because I was by myself, just a long story of everything that happened for me to get there, but I was thinking, for some odd reason, I got lost in these mountains, how long do I think I would survive? And I was thinking I could survive at least 3 weeks because I had a propane heater, I had a whole case of water, and I had at least 4 changes of clothes. On top of that, my dad gave us this entire thing of snacks, and there was a million Slim Jims in there. So I was thinking that's at least some type of food that is a little bit sustaining. Then there was a bunch of candy in there. I had a lighter. I don't know how to make a fire, but I had a lighter. And I had walkie-talkies, and I could maybe, go out to somebody else and do a little, I don't know if it's like a CBD radio, though.
Yeah, it had the national weather alert.
Yeah, I could have, and I was thinking I could survive for a little bit, and then I had my dad's car, and that thing had half a tank of gas in it.
Yeah, you'd been all right.
I would have rationed. But anyway, so yeah, back to our Survivor. So I went camping, Survivor, in the wilderness, and it was horrible. I won't lie to you, but it was a good experience.
Good experience?
It was. I'm glad I went. I've said this, I told Shelby, I was like, I'm glad I went because it was with my sister. But if she ever asked me to go again, I would say no.
Here's my question. I know y'all didn't use a lot of the things I sent, but did you use the table?
We brought it to our campsite. And we didn't open it because, also
all that effort for nothing.
Let me just
It wasn't much effort. I just had a bunch of stuff and I just loaded everything in the truck.
You had to, it was like Narnia. So it was, first of all, Winter Wonderland. And then you'd walk into this deep pit of the woods. I'm not talking about camping. You're at a campground, campsite.
Yeah, it was just
this is literally in the middle of the mountain. And you had to use the bathroom. There's no toilets there. You had to bring your own roll of toilet paper. That's when I should have known not to go. When that was on the camping packing list. But my dad was like, just go, it'll be good for you, you'll have fun. And I was like, you're right, I don't have anything other, like, I didn't have anything else to do. And it was good for me. It built my character. It showed me that I've never felt more disgusting in my life. I literally drove home 3.5 hours, get home, immediately I go take a shower. My hair has never smelled like smoke. It smelled like and y'all, if you don't, we go to the Basie's house for college dinner.
Yeah.
And one thing that we do, and I do enjoy a good campfire, but it's on Sundays. And if you're a girl, you understand, like, you wash your hair, not every day. So I usually wash my hair on Sundays. But when we go, if it's at their house, if we have a fire, I cannot stand when my hair hits like the teeniest bit of like smoke smell. It drives me crazy. And so like I literally that's all I could smell all night was just smoke. It was awful. Okay, anyway. But you should go camping. Builds character.
Camping builds.
I hate it, but it builds character. But it was good for me to go because I realized that I'm a spoiled brat. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
So, all right, what was the best part? Worst part? Best part, worst part?
The best part was probably just hanging out with Shelby's friends and like getting to see like her in her school. Like how she acts when she's at school. It's funny to me. She acts the same. Like she doesn't act different, but it's just interesting to see her like in a life removed from ours. Yeah. And then probably the worst part was honestly sleeping. It was so cold, and we were in like a really small tent, probably from like here to the end of my dad's elbow, like not very long. If you're not watching, it was probably like 10 feet, and there was 5 girls in that tent. It was definitely a 2-person tent, but
I sent you with like an 8-person.
I know, but we didn't want to put it up. Okay. And also I'm not gonna say it because that's mean, so I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. But yeah, it was good.
All right, well, good. What did you say? What the worst part was?
The worst part was sleeping.
Oh, sleeping.
There was just no way. Oh, yeah. But
I can't believe it snowed. Actually, like so, I saw pictures.
It was,
and I actually thought
nobody believed.
So we share the Google Photos. So whenever they take a picture, it uploads to Google Photos, and
there's no hiding.
Yeah, so especially Shelby.
Shelby's like, there's like selfies of all of Shelby in there. It's funny.
So anyway, so I'm looking through the photos because I figured that's the only way I'm going to see what they did. And I'm thinking, wait, this can't be the new photos because it's snow and it's April. What was it?
It was last Friday, so like April the
12th
7th,
or something like that.
Yeah, 8th.
Yeah. Anyway, I was like, there's snow on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I literally pulled up, and whenever I was like driving and it was like sprinkling, and then I was like, wait a second. I was like, this is ice. And then I was like, wait a second, this is snow. And then I pull up, and the next morning when I went to leave, I also got up at like, they all got up really early, and we like watched the sunrise. I left like immediately. I was like, Shelby, I'm leaving. I was like, I have got to go. So like I cleaned up all my stuff. I helped them clean up like some of the stuff, and then I left. And when I got to my dad's car, it was so cold. The doors were frozen shut. I had to climb through the back just to get into the seat to drive the car, just to turn it on so it could get heated. Like it was frozen shut.
That's wild.
It was like 24. I think I'm being dramatic, but it was really cold.
It had to be pretty cold.
But there was other people out there like camping. It was crazy.
Well, I'm glad you had fun.
But yeah, so Survivor, I think it's pretty good.
The show Survivor is one of our all-time favorite shows to watch with the family.
It's my dad's, but I didn't get into it until recently. I watched some of the old seasons, and
Well, you used to be into it when you were younger.
Yeah, but I haven't as of recently until I started watching the old seasons, and now I'm watching it this season, and it's pretty good. I hate, what's her name? I already forgot.
Oh, sorry. I didn't say anything.
I think it's spoiled.
You hate Say?
I hate Say.
All right, she doesn't like Say.
I didn't watch the last episode. It's okay though, because
I don't think many people like Say.
Y'all, she makes me, I didn't like her.
You have to temper yourself on that.
Yeah, she makes me mad. I just think like you're watching it though. I can't imagine like living in it. Yeah. I can't, like I try not to judge any of their actions because I'm like, they're not thinking with the right frame of mind. Like we can see everything.
They're deprived from food, so you're not thinking clearly.
But we can also see all perspectives. Like they can only see theirs. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't like sit here and think that these people are idiots because they don't know. Like I couldn't imagine myself in that situation. Yeah. I probably would be Say, and everybody like, get this girl off the island. No,
I always thought like, okay, so a couple seasons ago there was this girl with one leg, I don't know if you remember her.
Oh my gosh. Everyone was like, you look just
She
like
looks
her.
just like that girl. I can't remember her name.
I don't know.
But anyway, she's past seasons and maybe 3 seasons ago.
I didn't watch.
She had one leg and
Did she win?
she was a lacrosse player, which also made it, because you play lacrosse.
Noelle.
Yes.
Lambert.
I
That's
remember people would come up to me and be like, you look just like her. And I was just like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought you looked just like her.
You do.
Right?
Yeah, they said we had similar faces.
But she was real gritty and, tough survivor player. She lasted for a long time. So I thought she might, gritty in a good way, like tough.
I was kidding.
Like a fighter.
Yeah.
Not like dirty.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah. And then we also told you guys to watch
Hunting Party.
And if you haven't watched it, Allie's finished it.
It's so good.
Are you caught up?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
caught up. I'm not.
Caught up?
No, I didn't. Me and Mom haven't had time, and I watch it with Mom.
She's watched it.
She watched it?
Okay,
That little
so you
devil.
know, close your ears, close your eyes. You know
No.
who Shane's mom is?
Wait.
You're not caught up either.
I didn't hear a word of that.
Jeannie and I talked about this on Sunday because I asked her, have you caught up? And she said, yeah, I'm caught up.
We need
And so I
to
was like,
watch.
So you know what happens.
We need to watch the last 2 episodes.
Maybe
I
I
think-
should rephrase.
Don't
feel
don't say it again.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm not caught up. So yeah, but it's a pretty cool show. What I like about the Hunting Party.
But apparently, this is it. The 10 episodes is it.
That's the entire season.
Okay, well I can respect that. At least because when you extend a show forever, it loses its, interest to me.
I think it's creepy.
And it's a good first season.
I just hope they do
run.
another.
Yeah, they could do.
Well, Allie said that she looked
their
up,
ratings aren't good.
and they're saying,
Yeah, I could see why they wouldn't be.
well, it's
I
just what
could s-
happens. But what makes me mad is shows like, what was that stupid plane show that girl was on?
Manifest.
Like that show got like 8 seasons, and it's horrible.
Man, that show gained popularity.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was super popular early.
But
I think
no.
it gained popularity later.
See, maybe, and it was on Netflix. Yeah. Maybe it will gain popularity, and it will.
I think shows like that sometimes are on the wrong network. Because you'll see like, I can't even remember certain shows. They show on one network, and then another network takes them over and they do better.
Yeah, because it's actually a really good show.
It just depends on when you play them, and I don't know.
But, what was I going to say?
I just think, I appreciate a little bit of storylines.
Yeah.
Like an original storyline.
I think what could keep the story going, like keep the show going, which I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, so I don't know. But they need like a reoccurring like serial killer they can't catch. They need somebody that they can't.
They need a red John.
I will say the way that it ends, it will make you be drawn in.
Okay. So we're going to watch the last 2 episodes and then we'll talk about it in extended. So you guys, if you haven't seen it, it's on what? Peacock?
Yeah.
Regular TV too if you have.
I think it's either NBC or CBS.
But you should go watch it.
I think Peacock's NBC. Paramount's CBS.
Yes.
I don't really know.
You guys need to film your reaction and we'll put it in the podcast next week.
Okay.
Of like whenever
she would do better.
Last minute of season or episode 10 is what you need to watch.
I don't like when I get left on cliffhanger. I want to know. So everyone that hasn't seen
you'll know. But
Okay.
Yeah, you just need to.
It just leaves everything unsettled.
Oh gosh, I'm scared. Right. So if you haven't, just go watch it, and then we can talk. We can talk more about it later. Anyway, so what? Okay.
Wait, okay, so before we move on to the next thing, pick your winner for Survivor. Who do you think's going to win?
I really don't know. I kind of want. So I really like the. Oh gosh, no, I'm gonna forget his name.
The buff guy.
I do really
Dave.
like him. I think people.
The guy that drinks milk.
Yes, I think people think I don't like him because he's cute, but I think that people think
it doesn't hurt.
No, yeah, he is attractive, but I think people sleep on him. Like I think they think he's an idiot. Yeah. Like Charity,
I think, though,
she was like, he's so stupid.
So guys like that though have a tendency to blow their own game up.
Yeah, probably
because they're real regimented guys. They're real aggressive.
But I liked
guys like that work out real, and so they'll just get tired of everybody else being lazy in their mind or not disciplined. And so they typically blow their own games up.
Yeah. I think that I thought it was cool how he was like, the brains always win. Like, I want a big guy to win this year. Or like just someone that
Physical threat.
the physical. Because in the beginning, that's all it was the physical. Like, because they didn't have, I mean, it was a mental
I don't
game.
know, but Tina won over Caleb.
Tina did win. But
Colby, not Caleb.
But that genuinely made me mad.
Yeah, I think it made everybody mad when it happened.
Because, like, he played, I think, honestly, Survivor's so weird because I feel like the people that play the best games never win.
Well, I wouldn't say never, but a lot of times the best game player doesn't win.
Yeah.
Somebody that floated long enough
what's her face?
to then all of a sudden kind of
like Queen Sandra.
I don't know if Queen Sandra's a floater.
In the very first season,
maybe.
She floated with what's his face the whole way.
Okay.
But I will say she was very smart. Like, she was not an idiot. She's great at the game. Yeah. I'm not like hating on her at all.
I think you got to pick. I think you got to be able to do both. I think you better float a little bit and then make a move and then get back into the. You got to be able to.
I think you also have.
It's kind of like double dutch. You ever done the double dutch? Jump rope. You know what I'm talking about? You got to find the right time to jump in.
Yeah. Did you say his name was Dave?
Yes.
I think that Dave is a physical threat, but I also think he could potentially be a mental threat.
He could.
Because I think
I think his social game is going to blow it up.
He's a little bit smarter, but yeah, I don't know. I do like the little, what's her name?
The autistic girl?
No, I mean, I like her. I think she's cool, but I don't like, I mean, if she wins, that would be awesome. But I kind of like,
Mary.
Yes.
See the Asian girl? She's hilarious.
Because I think she's like, she's a little feisty, but she's so small. I like her. And I don't like, I don't not like them, but what's her name? And Kyle and the girl.
Oh, yeah.
I'm scared of them. I think they're really powerful in the game so far.
I can't remember her name, but she's going to fly under the radar.
I get worried. And I don't like when winners win. I don't like when the winner is like that. I want the winner to be somebody that's like out. Like, I think going back to season 2, like, Colby should have won just because he was so dominant and he was winning at everything. And he also, I felt like, played a very good mental game.
Yeah, he did good. He won every challenge. They couldn't beat him.
I loved him.
Yeah. All right, well, enough about Survivor. So I got this text message the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to send it to you, Allie. This is the text message I get the other day from this lady. Not lady.
Girl. Young.
She is a young lady.
She's a mother. She's a mother.
Yeah. Her son just turned one. So, anyway, her name's Carly. Carly Watson is what she grew up under, but it's Shaddix now. So she sends me this text message, and it's a picture of me baptizing her.
I think you're sending that to me.
I'm sending it to both of y'all.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're not sending that to Allie. I have my dad has this weird emoji of me as his.
Apparently, I'm not doing a good job of sending this.
This
is live. A 50-year-old trying to send a text message.
I mean, seriously, Dad. You act like you ain't on that phone all the time.
I'm good at this. I know.
Oh, we didn't even talk about it. My dad is now 50. He had his birthday last week.
So Wednesday. That's what she sends me.
Okay, sorry. Continue about your text.
July 20th, 2008, she sends me this picture, and it's me baptizing her when she was a little girl. And so she texts me. She's like, when things like this pop up on her memories or whatever, it reminds her of our relationship and how much she misses the Blasey family. And it's just an encouragement. I think one of the things that encourages me the most in my ministry is seeing those that were part of my ministry grow up and stay in the faith and raise their kids in the church or continue to walk with the Lord and are still serving the Lord in a church and part of a local church. I think that's really cool.
I think it's cool too that they just they still feel like comfortable enough just to like reach out to you and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is what's going on in my life. And like, this is what I'm doing. I think that's so cool. And you have so many, I feel like people call you every other day. And it's like, oh yeah, I just talked to so-and-so. They were in my youth ministry like 20 years ago.
I think some things they're bothering me or whatever.
Yeah, no.
But actually, it's
He
an
eats it
encouragement.
up.
Oh,
Keep
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I completely.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's what I'm
love
saying.
it. Yeah. I mean, because, you think about how much you invested.
Yeah, you put so much time in
The
them.
problem is in youth student ministry, you don't get to see the fruit in the middle of the student ministry.
Yeah.
You just are investing a lot.
Yeah.
And then, so the fruit's later on. And so I think it's really cool to see some of that fruit come
That is cool.
to bear it now. So that's been really cool.
That's
So I appreciate it, Carly. Thanks for the, not that she watches this, but it was
she
good.
could.
Who knows?
Well, on a more lighter note,
Yeah.
we can talk about our NCAA bracket breakdown.
Who won?
So Florida won for the men, and UConn won for the ladies.
You weren't real happy about that?
Well, it's not, honestly, I don't really mind it. I think Paige Beckers deserves it. Well, not just Paige, her whole team. I hate when people say that. Her whole team deserves it. But I am a South Carolina fan, so I was a little sad for Dawn, but that's okay. They've won so many times, and I think it was cool because Paige was the senior and she was leaving, and it was her last chance.
I think, she went through so much.
She did.
She had tons of injuries.
And her coach, I'm like blanking on his name right now.
Gino.
I was like, why do I not remember? I think that was him and her and Gino had a good. I actually really like that guy. I don't know if I can say I really like him, but I've seen like a few interviews with him and I've liked just some of the things that he said. And
he's old school, hardcore.
Yeah.
Expects a lot.
He's scary.
Demanding, but he's also
really good. I mean,
he's genuine. Like
you don't get a lot of that these days.
Right.
No, yeah. I think that's probably why. And I honestly think if you look at the teams that have gone so far into the playoffs, like you have to look obviously at their coach, but like see the difference. Like Dawn is like that too. Like she's super old school, but she's also like really hard on her players. And she's just smart basketball wise. But like, I don't know. I just feel like even Iowa was like their coach, like Lisa Bluter, what's her face? Who's the girl that took over for her? Shelby's going to be so mad at me.
Is it start with a J?
I
don't know the lady's name.
I think it might be Jan.
Yeah, that's it. Janet or something.
What is it? Allie.
Jane.
This is Lisa Blutter.
No, but it's her assistant. Who was her assistant that year? Anyway, just these like big. I feel like all the great teams have
Jan Jensen.
Thanks, Dad.
I knew it was a J.
You did.
Shelby?
Sorry, Shelby. That's so bad. But like, I think that they all have like these coaches that are so disciplined, and that's how you can see a team that has a coach like that and their success. Even LSU even though she's literally the craziest lady on planet Earth.
Kim Mulkey.
She's crazy, but she's got her team going. So
I think that that just shows you. You need somebody to hold you accountable.
Oh yeah.
There's something to accountability. It's not like they're not the meanest people in the world. They're probably pretty fun. And I've seen, Dawn seems to be a fun person.
Yeah, she's a crazy lady.
But when it comes to, the work side, all right, I'm going to expect a lot. I'm going to hold you accountable to this work, and we're going to do it. And we're going to be
that's the only way I think
we're going to take care of the details.
Yeah, you can be successful. Is just like making sure you're not. I think letting teams sneak by, like letting certain kids sneak by because of their talent is better than some of the other kids. That's when your team starts to crumble a little bit. Like you have to be able to look at the best player on your team and be like, well, this is my rule. Like, sorry, you got to sit out or like leave practice.
You have to submit to the same rules everybody else does.
Right. And I think that's helpful for all those teams. But yeah,
I think that's exactly right.
But I am glad that UConn won.
How was your bracket?
Oh, my bracket was horrible. I think I was like literally last in every single group I was in. My men's bracket, super bad. I did pick the right winner, Florida. Yeah.
So, I had 3 brackets in the men's and I had a bracket in the women's, but I picked UConn to win the women's. But for some reason...
You picked UConn?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I picked UConn to win the women's bracket. But for some reason, Emerson in our college ministry, when we had our bracket, he won and picked South Carolina. So I guess he won all a lot more of the preliminary games that were...
Yeah, my bracket was...
But I feel like if you got the winner, if you picked the winner...
No, that's not how it works.
I'm just saying there should be extra points.
Because anyone can pick a winner.
Well, not anyone. Some people's brackets were busted. Did you pick the winner?
I picked the winner for the men's, and I think I was literally 45th out of 50 people.
Yeah, I just think you should get. I'm not
People
saying
are
you should win.
brackets.
You should just get a lot of points. You should get a lot of points for picking the winner out of 64 teams.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I like how they do it.
Yeah,
because
I'm just upset. That's really weird.
I could care less, to be honest.
Anyway.
I picked blindly. I was just sitting there and I was tapping.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you guys, kind of going back to what you were saying about having coaches to hold you accountable. What is your take on this whole Nico thing at Tennessee?
Okay, that's a good.
Oh, so I don't know what that is.
So Nico was a quarterback for Tennessee, University of Tennessee football team.
Is he cute?
Okay.
I think he's like Polynesian descent.
Okay.
He's a guy.
I was just wondering. Allie could answer.
I'll send you a picture.
So anyway, is he cute? It's not a question I'm comfortable answering.
All right.
Here's the thing. So they paid him $2 million to be the quarterback.
Wow.
So they're in the middle of spring, and he's in the middle of negotiating his next contract.
Okay.
Which is stupid in college.
It's the Wild West a little bit. And I think the NCAA has set this up for failure. They did this on purpose because when they were trying to pay the players for NIL deals, it wasn't about paying the players millions of dollars. It was just so they could they could make money on their own name, image, or likeness.
It was literally just for the jersey, right?
Jerseys, YouTube channels. There was a punter that had a YouTube channel that had to shut his YouTube channel down.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't make money.
And then there was a golfer, he's like a huge YouTuber, but he couldn't play in college because of his YouTube channel.
Right. So that was what it was originally about, right? So anyway, that's what it was originally about the football, about making money on their own name, image. Because you would have football players go to an autograph signing. If somebody gave them $100, they could lose eligibility to play, which always cost Georgia, big time. So I think it was a good thing in its intention, but the NCAA let it go crazy so that they can come back and everybody cry for them to take control, and they now control all the money. That's my theory. However, right now, so it's a wild, wild west. They can do whatever they want. Nico wanted to renegotiate his contract in the middle of spring practice. He wants $4 million, which I think is being pushed by his dad, from what I understand. His dad's kind of behind the scenes pushing this whole thing. And he's not, so Tennessee wasn't really interested in signing for $4 million. So he started sniffing around in the transfer portal, but not
fake.
He didn't put himself in the transfer portal.
He was just
put word out
that I might potentially.
And Dan Lanning at Oregon got word of that, and he told Josh Heupel, who was the football coach at Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, it's like Jonathan and Daniel.
Yeah. So
in the Bible. We just learned about that tonight.
Jonathan and Daniel?
David. Sorry, gosh.
Okay. That's all right.
Because
there's a lot of names.
Because he tells him that his dad's about to kill him.
Yes.
Trusting friends. We learned about that tonight.
So well, that's good. Good for Nick teaching you. So
thanks, Nick.
Anyway, so the coaches kind of talk and find out, and amidst the negotiations, Nico just skips practice.
Oh, heck no.
Practice, team meetings.
Kick him off the team.
So he didn't come to what he was supposed to come to.
$2 million.
So Heupel just said, because he broke the team rules, we're parting ways with Nico.
See,
instead of giving into the contract, they just cut everything away from him. So now he's actually in the transfer portal, and everybody's saying no. Now, he did just turn his notification transfer portal to do not contact. So that means a team is talking to him. I don't think he's going to get $2 million or $4 million. He might not get $2 million.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, he was getting $2 million. And because Carson Beck went to Miami and got $4 million, Nico wanted the same pay.
And now his girlfriend broke up with him. Sorry.
And I think the problem is when you start getting greedy, it's going to come to an end.
Yeah, but I have like major respect for the coach, because I think at the end of the day, like you have to show the rest of your team, like, I'm here. If you're not, I miss when people played for their sport and their team and like had this like badge of honor.
That's the thing. Everybody,
like you are ride or die. Like
your badge of honor is no longer your team. It is the number on your paper.
Right. Like this.
Well, that's the thing. We used to say it. You play for the name on the front of your jersey, not for the name on the back.
Exactly.
Of course, we didn't have names on the back of our jersey. Our coach was like, put your name on the jersey. and I know there's a lot of people that want that now, but the message that was built into my generation was like, you're playing for one another, you play for the school. And so it was more about the front than the back. That was kind of the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a lot of coaches that play that way. And I think, there's a lot of kids that think that way. But there's a whole lot of people that push these kids, you go get your money, go get your money, go get your money. And that's just a bad way to live. It's a bad way. It's a bad thing to teach anybody, because look, here's the deal. Just like the coaches hold them accountable, like the best players and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's, if you want to be a Christian, the Christian life is about self-denial. Mm. It's not about self-gratification. It's not about self-promotion. It's about denying yourself daily. Yeah. Like, you got to deny your flesh. Like, if you want to be a Christian, it's not, you're not going to beat your chest. You're not going to, get on Twitter and say, look how great I am. Listen to this.
It's not a me
Listen
show.
to this message that I got from the Lord that you need to hear, because it's going to bless you. You need to hear my message. That's not a godly way to go about things. Mm-hmm. It's about self-denial. You deny yourself and you take up your cross daily. This is a daily battle. I have to kill my flesh every day. That's what Christianity is about. It's not, we're teaching the exact opposite in this culture. Now, the culture is always in conflict with the scripture, but it's on a next level when you talk about sports and athletes. And I mean, they're idolized. These kids are posterized everywhere, put them on social media.
I think like just even regular like kids that are in school, like they idolize, like I'm in accounting. So I feel like every kid is just idolizes this like CPA exam and like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing in America. We all have to take it. Like, I have to get an A in this and I have to do this. And it's like, your whole life is for something else. Like, it's not for like that you just live and live and live for the next best thing. Like, what's the next thing that I can achieve? And it's the same thing for athletics. Like, what's the next, like, how can I get more playing time? Like, what's the next thing? But it's like, ultimately you continue to live that way. You're never going to be satisfied. Like, you've got to deny yourself and know that like my life, I'm literally like, it's so hard, but I have to tell myself this all the time, but I'm literally here to serve the Lord. Like, no matter like what I do during the day, like my life is not my own. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest thing that we are just not taught anymore. Mm-hmm. Or like we are, but it's also not like something that we say a lot. And I think like at church, obviously, like we're told that all the time, but at school or in anything else you do in your life, they're like, you need to learn how you can be the best. And it's not like how you can be the best.
Yeah. And if we're not careful, you Christian, you can partition your life. Mm-hmm. You can partition it where like, okay, this is my Christian life and this is my church life and this is my professional life. Yeah. And then and
then you have like sections of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's so true. Cause I feel like especially when you're at school, you're one way at school, you're one way at home, and then you're one way at church. Mm-hmm. Like you can have, but it should just be all one.
Yeah. That's dangerous. Yeah. And that's dangerous. And what I think too happens is like, because, FCA is popular, there's a lot of ministries in athletics. And then a lot of times they get a dose of spirituality and it's not really true, deep Christianity. Mm-hmm. So it's not self-denying, daily walking with the Lord. It is not everybody, don't hear me wrong, but sometimes they just kind of take on this addition to the athletic culture of being spiritual and praising the Lord. And it's just something else they've added to the reputation that they're building, their whole persona. And it's not really, they're not dying to their self because they're chasing after these
worldly
accolades things. And I got to be this and I got to achieve this. And
you're not
there's
good.
Nothing wrong with working hard and trying to win and do things. But when your whole life is built on achieving these accolades and each one of these championships, and when your whole life is built and centered on and chasing after that, and that's what everything is surrounded around. When that falls apart,
you've got nothing.
And that's why we're like, these debates about who's the GOAT and who's the champions, it all centers around how many championships you won and all that kind of stuff. That's the danger of this American culture that has glorified sports to such the high level where it's the end all be all of everything. Mm-hmm. When Christianity is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
The end all be all is glorifying Christ and not me.
Right.
Not
and
me
I literally
standing up beating my chest.
I genuinely think that is with everything. Like, I think that's with like you in a workplace, you at school, like, yes, sports is a huge one, but I also think like you're glorifying yourself in like you want to be the managing partner one day, or like you want to be the most popular kid in school, or there's like all these things that we value way more than just like dying to ourselves. Like we would rather like just do so many other things than just live for the Lord. And I think that is like something that I have like, I don't know, just recently I feel like it's been such a big topic in my life, or something that just keeps presenting itself, and obviously it's for a reason, but that like you need to live not for yourself. Like it's not about what does Addie want to do today. And like I do think what you said, like it is important, I think, to like strive and have goals and be disciplined and don't be lazy, because that's not what the Lord called us to do. But like also know like I'm doing these things not for the betterment of addieblazi, but I'm doing these things for the betterment of the Lord, and like how I can better pursue him and like live for him instead of like, oh, like what makes my life better. But that's not saying like don't do things that you don't enjoy. Like I just think when you're doing the things that you enjoy, like no, these are like I'm enjoying this because the Lord provided it for me.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's the one that created laughter. He created every one of us with a sense of humor and all the good things in life that the world, the flesh, and the devil try to corrupt and to,
try to paint as something bad.
They mar in some way or twist it. They kind of make it slightly, they alter it slightly from what it's intended to be. And that just messes the joy of the Lord up in the Christian's life. And so what we just have to do is to live for the Lord. And there's nothing wrong with being the best accountant that you can be, but don't be it so that you can, I
said I do not want to be.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
But there's nothing wrong with, whatever your line of work is, there's nothing wrong with being the best.
And you should
but
want to.
But don't be the best because you're trying to fulfill some void in your own heart, or you're trying to establish yourself as the
or what others
top.
Look at you and
and highlight your name, but what you want to glorify the Lord and highlight his name. Like what's the first question in the Westminster Catechism is, what is the chief end of man? Like what's my purpose? To glorify God and enjoy him forever. I want to glorify the Lord, and I want to enjoy him, which means I can.
Yeah.
I can enjoy the life the Lord has given me.
Yeah.
I can enjoy. I don't have to have, I don't have to have a nicer car than my neighbor. I don't have to have, which I don't, but I don't have to have all these things
I do. I'm just kidding.
in my life. Or I don't have to have the championships or somebody being all SEC or all world or that stuff's never going to fulfill my life. Right. But living a life that serves the Lord, that highlights him, that brings glory to his name. That is. One thing I'll say was interesting in the tournament. What was that girl's name for Alabama? The basketball player?
Oh, man. I forgot.
Sarah something.
I forgot, but...
she had like 3 names. It's like Sarah Baker or something like that.
Oh,
anyway, she had free throws at the end to kind of go to
Sarah
overtime.
Ashley Barker.
Oh, Sarah Ashley? Okay. So that girl,
that's cute.
she shot 3 free throws, made all 3. But right before she shot them, she went and prayed with her teammate. And they gave an interview afterwards, and she was like, I prayed that this girl prayed for me, and the prayer was like, no matter if I make these or miss these, this is the story you've written for me, and I want to live in this moment. And I want to bring glory to your name. Like if I miss these 3, that's the way I'm going to bring glory to your name and how I react. If I make these 3, that's how I'm going to bring glory to your name and how I react. So that was really cool. That's how you can serve the Lord in basketball. I mean, you can. That's how you can serve the Lord in your work too, and whatever you do.
Yeah. And I think
whatever line of work.
Once you get that one thing, it makes your life like make so much more sense. Like it does, because then I think sometimes there's so many people out there and they're just like, I'm trying to find my purpose. Like I don't have a purpose. I'm like, no, like your purpose is the Lord. Like, and we know that because we're Christians, but those people that are not, they don't, like their purpose is like something silly. And maybe it's not silly, and maybe it's something that's really big and like it's really hard to achieve, but like it's also not ever going to fulfill them the way that like my peace of mind knowing that like if I go to school tomorrow and something happens and I have to withdraw from everything, like it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, like my life isn't if I have a degree or if I'm like whatever. My life is for the Lord. So
I think, to your point, it's like Ecclesiastes, chasing after the wind. You can achieve these great things, but really you're chasing after the wind. And what you need to do is chase after the Lord.
Yeah.
Trust in him. And so it's sometimes we go through difficulty. We've talked about that before with Joseph and all the things we've talked about on the podcast. And in our lives, we talk about it all the time. But, the most important thing is whether I'm going through a valley or a mountaintop or whatever I'm going through, this is part of God's plan. It's like when Hebrews talks about it in Hebrews chapter 12, your life is planned. Even Proverbs tells us that the steps of the righteous are ordered of the Lord. Like God's plan for us is already planned out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I like to picture it like an obstacle course for a bicycle or a truck or whatever. And you got to ride on that thing. And however you choose the obstacles are there. You got to choose how you're going to manage them and what attitude and posture you're going to manage those obstacles with. Whether you're going to have a posture that praises the Lord or one that just complains and reacts negatively every time. So
that's good.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
All right. Got any final thoughts? I think we've kind of exhausted our time here.
No. Do we have those questions?
Oh, that's right. There was a question
that we could answer real quick, and then we'll.
I had a question
wrap
come in today.
It up. What are they?
You have a question there, Allie?
Did you send it to me?
It's in the shared notes.
Oh, I can honestly.
I can open
I
it.
can also look and read it.
Oh, here it is. Okay, got it.
Got it.
Faithful follower here. I have loved listening to the episodes when I'm driving. I have specifically loved two things. That you were always pointing people to the local church, specifically college students. I personally saw a long-term difference in those who went to a college ministry versus those who got plugged into a local church. I love the episode with your friend Laura, and I love the episode about the kitchen table and eating with others. We have loved this in our own home, so based off the kitchen table episode and what y'all mentioning large crowds at times eating in your home and lots of episodes loving food. What are you guys' cooking for these large crowds? I need new ideas.
We should have had Jeannie in here.
They said, we're known as the meatball house because if you come eat at our house, you're more than likely getting meatballs to eat. LOL.
I don't mind meatballs. Are they the big meatballs or the small meatballs?
Honestly,
it's gotta be the big ones.
I feel like my favorite thing that we do is either like the fajitas, like the taco bar type thing. I like that. Or I don't know.
You like the sheet pan fajitas?
Yeah, my mom makes like lasagna. That's pretty good.
Jeannie's lasagna is pretty good. That's one of my favorite meals.
She also makes like random like.
So like when it's when it's cold, I love chili and
trash.
I like soups because it's hearty and it's
if you
good,
know
and it
the
lasts.
littles will do soup night.
Yeah, soup is good.
So good.
The chicken noodle soup that she made was.
I like the simple like tomato soup and grilled cheese.
I love a grilled cheese on sourdough.
Yeah, on sourdough is good. So I like those. We've done that before. We've done the in other houses. I think Allison did that. We did breakfast at night. Jeannie Addie hates breakfast at night.
Fun fact: breakfast is my favorite meal of the day,
but not at night.
It's not night. It's not breakfast time.
I like the baked potato bars.
I do, but those kind of get a little. If you have a good kitchen, like a good flow, you could do a baked potato bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you saying that we don't have a good flow?
No, we do have a good flow, but it's just a little. It can get a.
The way we do it,
it's
not my favorite way to do it.
So, also if it's like summertime, like hamburgers, hot dogs.
Yeah. Except when I buy the frozen patties.
My dad made
the last one
bad hamburgers the other night.
The last batch of hamburgers I made were the worst hamburgers I think I've ever made.
They were like hockey bucks.
I mean, they were bad.
They were bad.
Bad. Those were the last hamburgers I made were the absolute worst hamburgers I've ever made.
But that's okay.
But I was like, about the Bubba Burger, not the Bubba Burger. There was some kind of BJ's had like this special.
We just will never.
It was a bad. Usually, I get a certain kind from U.S. Chef,
answer.
and that's
I'm just kidding, but you just went. Sorry.
He has his ways. Let him have his ways.
Anyway,
I'm just kidding.
so that's not good. That one. But barbecue, we usually do a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah,
with,
barbecue's good.
Pulled barbecue. I like to smoke it.
People do spaghetti
Spaghetti.
with salad or...
Baked spaghetti. Baked ziti is a popular one. People like baked ziti.
Someone did chicken tenders one time. I mean, honestly, whatever. I feel like if you have food, people will just come and eat, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. People done a lot of different things. I can't remember I guess we've already mentioned some of our favorites.
A lot of it's pasta.
A lot of it is pasta.
A lot of pasta. A lot
so
of
if
tacos.
you're like gluten-free, it's hard to be a part of a church when you're gluten-free.
Yeah.
A Baptist church.
Everything's pasta. Or if you're dairy-free, there's going to be cheese somewhere.
Pretty much.
But it's...
Oh, we did pizza the other night.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not a pizza girl, though.
No, I do like pizza. I really liked the pizza I had. It was pretty good, actually.
We didn't get enough of that one.
I don't eat it a lot.
Should have got more of that pepperoni, hot honey.
Yeah, they were all mad you got that white cheese. There's like a million pieces of it. Anyway.
I ate it.
I didn't.
I just got whatever the owner told me to get.
Owners can be wrong.
No,
I'm just kidding. That's so not true.
She was.
Anyway, that was is that the only question we have?
That was the only one I
think so.
saw come in.
Unless there was some on the YouTube, but I didn't look at the comments. Anyway, so next week we'll talk more about Hunting Party. We're going to watch the episodes.
Yeah, we'll watch it. Maybe you'll film the...
Oh, yeah, maybe we'll film our reaction. I forgot. And then we'll talk more about Survivor and, I don't know.
We'll be close to the end of Survivor by then.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do this weekend. You'll watch Hunting Party, I'll watch Survivor.
Perfect.
She got to catch up, too.
I know. I didn't watch last week's episode, and then obviously
tonight. It's on tonight.
I haven't watched. But
literally as we're recording, it's on.
Do what?
I think it's on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It
is because it popped up on my phone. So
I'm usually asleep, but no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Come back for next week, and then you can see, because I don't really know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. No, I don't know. We'll probably talk a little bit more politics. I meant to mention a couple things.
Oh.
Japan's was the first person to start tariff conversations today. So we could talk about those.
Yeah, we'll talk about the tariff conversations because they're coming around.
Boring.
We'll talk a little bit we'll talk about Harvard. I've got an opinion on that.
Oh, you did want to talk about, we'll talk about that next week.
We'll talk about that.
I did look it up, so.
So I probably have a different opinion than a lot of people in my circle on the Harvard situation. So.
I used to always want to go to Harvard. Imagine.
Charlie got a letter from Harvard football.
He did.
He did? I
recall that.
Yeah, 100%.
He should have gone.
Yeah, you should have.
He would have been set for life. All right, anyway.
All right.
We'll talk next week. Bye.
Thank you.